Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Local News Live here on AOC Community Media. This is a service provided by volunteers reading local and state news from the Acadiana Advocate each weekday at 9 a.m. You can catch us on AOC 1, which is Cox 15, LUS 3. Stream us at aocinc.org/watch and live on our YouTube channel. Just look us up, AOC Community Media. It's 9:01. I'm going to throw it right over to our volunteer this morning. There's lots to cover. Thank you, Bruce, so much for being here with us this morning.
Oh, you're entirely welcome, Mandy, and thank you for always being my wonderful engineer at the helm of all the tech stuff. I really appreciate it.
Glad to.
So, a good morning, Acadiana. Today is Friday, October 30th. Tomorrow has Spooky Halloween Day, and we're in the year 2020, but you know that. What a year it's been. So we're going to start off with a couple stories. Start with some local stories this morning, and going to get to some interesting news happening in and around the Acadiana area and throughout the state this morning. So Advocates Acadiana homeless population is growing by Ken Stickney. COVID-19 has changed the face of homelessness, and there are many more faces to consider. Lee Rachel, Executive Director of Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness and Housing Incorporated, said this week that the number of homeless people in this area have almost doubled between head counts taken in January and in October. At issue is where these people will rest their heads at night, as shelter space and available beds have plummeted because of COVID-19 restrictions. There's been a huge decrease in shelter beds in the region, Rachel said. Some shelters are closed, some are closed permanently due to lack of support. Others closed temporarily until they can figure out how to operate in a COVID world. Here's the problem. Social distancing requires 6 feet of space between people at shelters, but shelter facilities are designed to pack people in with bunk beds, common bathrooms, and communal eating quarters. That's forced shelters to close and force homeless people into hotel rooms wherever they are available. We have to redesign our shelter programs, reconfigure physical space, Rachel said, and that requires funding. Rachel talked with stakeholders last week about the growing homeless population, which she said has increased from 417 in January to 759 in October, up 83%. Rachel says she believes homelessness among families is up around 200% over the course of 2020, although it's tough to ascertain those numbers. She said stakeholders in an online meeting last week that parents tend to not report that they are homeless. Of 54 people interviewed this month, 39 declined to answer about children. In October's head count, the coalition surveyed 54 panhandlers on Lafayette streets, most of whom were homeless. She says the survey of panhandlers in Lafayette followed public discussion and talk of ordinances by city officials. Although the formal discussion has been tabled, the effort continues to find out who is panhandling and why, and also what is the appropriate response to panhandling in the city. She said the survey showed that panhandlers were working more intersections around the city in October than in January. Of those surveyed in October, 41 to 54 were male. Race was split 50-50 between black and white. 43 to 54 were unsheltered, and reasons for homelessness were loss of income or loss of a key relationship. The largest age group was 35 to 44. Rachel said her organization is adding staff as case managers for the homeless and has hired an expert to locate affordable housing for homeless people. The coalition, now tasked with resolving the homeless problem in Acadiana, is ramping up from a staff of 1, Rachel herself, to about 20 by next month. In some instances, she said, the solution to homelessness might come simply with a new job, but jobs are declining in many areas, she said. Even securing low-skilled jobs is tough for the homeless, she said, because there is a stigma about homelessness, and having no permanent residence makes finding work tougher. Rachel said those who want to help can provide donations of furniture and housewares at the group's share house, which is open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. You could also volunteer or donate. For more information, if you're interested in volunteering and becoming part of the way to fix this problem, to be a part of the solution to fix this problem, call 337-962-5257 for more information. Pope removed the city marshal. Prosecutor receives emailed last-minute resignation by Katie Gagliano, staff writer. Suspended Lafayette City Marshal Brian Pope was officially removed from office Thursday, minutes after the convicted official forwarded an email to prosecutors announcing his resignation. The 50th Judicial District Attorney's Office sought to remove Pope from office after he exhausted his appeal opportunities for his conviction on 3 counts of malfeasance in office. On October 15th, Pope was resentenced by Judge David Smith to spend up to 1 year in the parish jail. Pope's sentence also included 240 hours of community service, $1,500 in fines, court costs, $11,700 in restitution, and 3 years of supervised probation. Pope was not present for his 10:30 a.m. removal hearing on Thursday, instead emailing an unofficial resignation to the Louisiana Secretary of State's office at 8:58 a.m., forwarding the email to Judge Thomas Duplancher's clerk at 10:07 a.m., before finally forwarding the announcement to Assistant District Attorney Alan Haney at 10:30 a.m., Haney said. I don't think that's official to email the prosecutor a resignation, Haney said once the proceeding began. Duplancher agreed, noting Pope's email did not negate his responsibility to appear in court. Duplancher said Pope had ample time to resign in advance of 10 o'clock. Duplancher then granted the motion to remove Pope from office. The entire proceeding lasted barely 5 minutes. Louisiana Secretary of State's office spokesperson Tyler Bray said Pope's email declared his resignation effective October 28th. The resignation couldn't be considered official until the state received an original signed, dated, and notarized letter. Pope said in his email that letter will be sent in the mail. Pope has been suspended without pay since his conviction, but technically remained in office while appealing. He registered to seek re-election in the November 3rd race, but 2 judges found Pope was not qualified. Pope was convicted by a jury in October of 2018. The malfeasance in office charges stem from the use of public funds to pay attorneys for personal and prohibited reasons, such as trying to get the divorce file of a candidate for sheriff unsealed and one for perjury during a deposition. It's still unclear if Pope will spend the year in jail or if he will receive credit for time served during a home monitoring program while he appealed his convictions. Smith deferred to Sheriff Mark Garber to determine if the home monitoring constituted house arrest and could fulfill part of all of Pope's sentence. Pope still faces 19 felony charges of malfeasance in office. 17 of those charges stem from allegations that Pope accepted about $85,000 in fines and court fees in 2018 to supplement his salary, despite a Louisiana Attorney General Office opinion advising the money should be deposited into the city marshal's office account. 2 others are related to reimbursements in 2018 for travel on official business that Pope is accused of depositing in his personal account instead of the city marshal's office account. UL announces an extra day off, more changes made to spring 2021 calendar, staff report. Students at the University of Louisiana in Lafayette will be getting an extra day off this spring. UL has canceled classes April 16th, designated as Lagniappe Day on campus. Among planned activities for Lagniappe Day are canoe races on Cypress Lake, a managed wetland at the center of campus. The highlight is a free crawfish boil for students, faculty, and staff, in which 20,000 pounds of crawfish are served. Although changes to planned activities may be necessary as the event nears because of continued uncertainty about the COVID-19 pandemic, students won't be denied that Lagniappe, said Joseph Savoy, UL president. Because we aren't yet sure if such large in-person events will be possible, we've decided to cancel classes that day, Savoy said in a message to the campus community Monday. Savoy announced one other change to the spring 2021 academic calendar. While many universities have canceled their spring breaks, we have chosen to shorten ours instead, Savoy said. We encourage members of the university community to limit travel during this period. By doing so, you reduce the possibility you may contract COVID-19 and bring it back to campus when you return. Spring break this year will be in 2021 will be April 2nd through the 6th. The remainder of the spring academic calendar remains unchanged, and the university plans to structure the spring semester much as it did in the fall, Savoy said. Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Mardi Gras break will be observed as holidays as originally scheduled on January 18th and February 15th through 17th, respectively. Okay. Now we're going to get into a few food/entertainment, but more food-related stories in the Acadiana area. This one is entitled "Now You're Cooking." Noni's Kitchen, moving jelly production from home to commercial facility by Megan Wyatt. After decades of gifting homemade pepper jelly, and fruit preserves, Tony Durocher was no stranger to compliments from friends and family. But Durocher, 65, never expected that anyone would be interested in purchasing her products. I always thought everybody loved it because they got it for free, Durocher said. They always said it's the best jelly they ever had, but I never dreamed it would sell. Durocher's spreads aren't just selling. They're in such high demand that her home operation will be moving into a commercial production facility before the end of the year just to keep up. Even Durocher's daughter, who pushed her mom to start selling the jelly, is surprised by how quickly the business has grown. I had asked her about starting to sell the jelly, and she laughed and said no one would ever buy it, Tony Frith said. Well, 3 years later, we are proving her wrong. Frith, 35, started Noni's Kitchen for her mom in 2017 when her parents moved from the Mandeville area to Lafayette to be closer to their granddaughter, Arabella. The namesake of the business comes from the nickname Arabella, 6 uses for her grandmother. Noni is a combination of Nonna and Tony, Durocher said. Nonna in Italian means grandmother, and I'm Italian, and then my name is Tony, so we get Noni. I love it, and I love it so much. Noni's Kitchen is truly a family operation. Durocher and Firth, who both work full-time as accountants, make jelly almost every day of the week in a home kitchen. Right now, we're able to make between 10 to 20 gallons a day. Thrift said, once we move into a facility, we'll be able to make maybe 50 gallons a day. We're hoping to be able to do it every few days instead of every day like we are now. Durocher's husband sells quality one-on-one time with Arabella while the women work. Thrift's husband handles tasting, quality control, and heavy lifting. We've worked this and perfected this, First said. We're a well-oiled machine. The mother and daughter are selling upward of 100 gallons of spreads per month, about half of that in bulk for restaurants and the rest in smaller jars for retail stores. They make pepper jelly in the 3 spice levels along with Mayhaw jelly, strawberry preserves, and blackberry preserves. They use homegrown peppers and locally grown fruit in their spreads. We're doing this as a family, Thrift said. This wasn't something we were doing to make money. We're doing it because we have a great product, so we use the absolute best Ponchatoula strawberries and local blackberries. Nona's Kitchen products can be found in more than 40 restaurants, grocery stores, and meat markets in the Acadiana, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans area. In September, Durocher and Frith signed an agreement with Rouse's Markets to supply 40 of their stores with Noni's products. I think the most exciting thing is seeing our name in print somewhere, Durocher said. Looking at an advertisement for Dino's Pizza, you can have your pizza topped with it and broad-ass burgers. It's the neatest thing to have gone from giving it away for 40 years to making a business out of it. I just love it when I go to New News and I see the jars on the shelf. And now that we're going to put it on a shelf in Ross's, that's real exciting. As a child, First says she didn't realize jellies and preserves were sold in grocery stores. because she had always grown up eating homemade versions her mother and grandmother made. Now first sees the homemade creations she grew up with on store shelves. She says she's most excited about passing the tradition to the next generation. We eat this in our home, First said. My 6-year-old is going to grow up and be excited that her jelly is sold in stores, and that's exciting for us. That's something we don't want to lose. That excitement. I think that comes across, and that's what really sets us apart. Just our great ingredients and our family style. You can learn more about Noni's Kitchen by visiting Noni's kitchenllc.com. That's NONIS kitchenllc.com. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break here and read a couple of public service announcements. We're going to start off with the Festival of Words, which, like everything else this year, is going virtual. And the Festival of Words will be held, as it is, every first weekend in November. This year, the dates are Friday, November 6th and Saturday, November 7th. The Festival of Words celebrates another year with 3 amazing authors and 2 days of memorable events. The festival will take place Friday and Saturday, November 6th and 7th, virtually. This year includes nationally recognized authors, Louisiana Poet Laureate John Warner Smith, poet Erica Mittner, and graphic memorist Robin Ha. Festival events include creative writing workshops for students in the community, a community stage for open mic, and drive-by poetry in which youth give dramatic presentations of festival authors' readings. The Friday night event features a poetry presentation by John Warner Smith and Erica Mittner, and Robin Ha reads from her work, graphic memoir, Almost American Girl. On Saturday, drive-by poetry performers from the Magnet Academy of Cultural Arts in Opelousas, or MACA, will recite works by the featured authors. There will be an open mic and multiple creative writing workshops, which are open to the public. For more information, check out festivalworks.org, or you can contact Executive Director Martha Gardner at 337-804-2482, or email fowmartha@gmail.com. You can also go to the Facebook page, Festival Words Arts Collective. And there will be various Zoom cafes you'll be able to go to for specific events on both that night and the following day on the 7th. And you can go to the website and to the Facebook page to get those links to go into those different Zoom event cafes. And just on a personal note, I'm involved in the festival. That's why I am reading it to you this morning. We have another one here. Dreams celebrates National Disabilities Month on Halloween. The Dreams Manufacturing Company is hosting a Halloween Tricks and Treats event on Saturday, October 31st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Dreams Meat Pie Factory, which is located at 3302 Johnson Street, Lafayette, in the Acadiana Plaza. There will be free examples of sweets, smoothies, and famous tasty meat pies from the Dreams Manufacturing Company. The Dreams Foundation of Acadiana established the Dreams Manufacturing Company to create jobs for individuals with special needs in the Lafayette community by baking and selling meat pies that can be found at grocers across Acadiana. The unique part of the company is these pies are made from scratch by 24 individuals, with 21 of them having special needs. Unique Smoothies, which is another organization that employs special needs individuals, will be giving samples and selling their smoothies. Hopi's Sweet Treats will be selling tasty desserts at the event. For the customer's convenience, each vendor will have stations located throughout the parking lot so that social distancing can be practiced. Costumes are not required, but encouraged. Face masks are required for those who walk from booth to booth. Stations will also be set up drive-through style for those who wish to remain in their vehicle. For more information about the Dreams Foundation of Acadiana, please email dreamsfoundationaca@gmail.com. You can also visit their webpage, which is dreamsfoundationaca.org, or follow them on social media. Okay, let's get back into our news. Continuing with sort of food and we're going to get to entertainment a little bit, hopefully, but there's another food article in this morning's paper. It's by Utesh to unveil Valor Stout. Beer Sales to Benefit Veterans by Adam Daigle, Acadiana business editor. Andrew Ward had a feeling his vision could be an easy sell. Ward, who is the president and founder of the Acadiana Veteran Alliance, had an idea of how his nonprofit could help veterans in the area, but also bring lots of people together to do it. Once he saw a friend's picture of Fallen Hero beer from a Denver-based brewery and discovered how its proceeds benefit the Fallen Heroes Foundation, he got to work. The result is the Valor Stout, a coffee stout beer from Biotech Brewing Company that will be released next week. It will be the first in a series of beers from the popular Arnoldville-based brewery that will benefit Acadiana area veterans. The kickoff event will be from 2 to 6 p.m. November 7th at the brewery. Admission is free. I've spoken to the VFW and Rotary clubs, and I always ask, raise your hand if you have someone in your life who's a veteran, Ward said. Without fail, everyone raises their hands. There are very few things to bring in both sides, and that's what we're trying to capture right now. The beer is made from coffee found in military field rations known as MREs, or meals ready to eat, after brewery owner Carlos Knott connected with the supplier. Knott, a Desert Storm veteran, came up with the idea for the dark beer, which is more popular in winter months. I was an Army Cavalry Scout for 8 years and ate my share of MREs and drank a lot of MRE coffee, Knott said. We are thrilled to work with the Acadiana Veterans Alliance on this fun and meaningful project. Adding MRE coffee actually worked quite well with the stout beer we brewed. It's rich with the roasted coffee and chocolate on both the nose and the palate. The beer's label is attributed to World War II with an image of two soldiers from World War II who are the grandfathers of the AVA Advisory Board members, Ward said. One image of a soldier with a hat and pipe is of Charles Patou, also the founder of Gulf Coast Bank alongside Colonel Jules Desautels. Each beer will pay tribute to a different battle in history, Ward said. Efforts are also underway to partner with a local distributor to sell the beer in stores. Okay, let's move on to the crime blotter, which is put together by the Advocate staff reporters. Jogger dies after being hit by a vehicle. A Moss Bluff man has been arrested after allegedly hitting a jogger with his vehicle on Thursday morning, according to KATC. Deputies said the jogger died from injuries he suffered on the crash Thursday near Old Highway 171 and Rollins Road in Moss Bluff. According to deputies, 22-year-old George D. McKinney Jr. was traveling southbound on LA 171 at a high rate of speed. Deputies said McKinney crossed the center line and struck a man who was jogging. The jogger, identified as 30-year-old Jason D. Webb, was transported to a hospital, where he later died from his injuries. Deputies said McKinney appeared to be impaired and there were alcoholic beverages in his vehicle. McKinney was arrested and transported to the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Office, where a breath intoxilizer test found him to be 2 times over the legal limit. He is booked into the Calcasieu Correctional Center and booked on counts of vehicular homicide, first offense DWI, and killer's operation. His bail was pending. A Lafayette man died in a 2-vehicle crash Wednesday on Interstate 10 near Scott, according to state police. Kevin Davis, 53, was a passenger in a 1996 Dodge Grand Caravan that was traveling east on I-10, according to a statement from state police. The Caravan was ahead of a 2002 BMW 320 that was also traveling east. Troopers said the BMW struck the rear of the Caravan and the collision caused both vehicles to exit the roadway and crash into the tree line. Davis was unrestrained at the time of the crash and was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the Caravan was also unrestrained and transported to a hospital in critical condition. State police said the driver of the BMW was also unrestrained and had no identification, so his identity is still unknown. One killed in Breaux Bridge house fire. The state fire marshal's office said deputies are investigating a house fire in Breaux Bridge involving 1 death. Multiple agencies responded to a call of a house fire about 10:30 a.m. Thursday in the 1100 block of Grand Anse Highway in Breaux Bridge, Anse. Once on scene, the fire marshal said firefighters located the body of a male believed to be in his 20s inside the home. More information will be released as it becomes available. The Cecilia Volunteer Fire Department, along with St. Martin Parish Fire District, Arnoldville Fire Department, Henderson Fire Department, and Breaux Bridge Fire Department responding to the fire. Okay, we're almost getting close to our half-hour break, and that's usually when we do a day in history and the zodiac or horoscope, as I like to refer to it as, and the funerals in the Kennesaw area for today. So we'll start off with the day in history. Today is Friday, October 30th, 304th day of 2020. There are potentially 62 shopping days left in the year. Today's highlighted in history. On October 30th, 2005, the body of Rosa Parks arrived at the U.S. Capitol, where the civil rights icon became the first woman to lie in honor in the rotunda. President George W. Bush and congressional leaders paused to lay wreaths by her casket. On this date in 1735, the second president of the United States, John Adams, was born in Braintree, Massachusetts, my home state. In 1912, Vice President James S. Sherman, running for a second term of office with President William Howard Taft, died 6 days before Election Day. Sherman was replaced with Nicholas Murray Butler, but Taft, the Republican candidate, ended up losing an electoral college landslide to Democrat Woodrow Wilson. In 1921, the silent film classic The Sheik, starring Rudolph Valentino, premiered in Los Angeles. In 1961, the Soviet Union tested a hydrogen bomb, the Tsar Bomba, with a force estimated at about 50 megatons. In 1974, Muhammad Ali knocked out George Foreman in the 8th round of a 15-round bout in Kinshasa, Zaire, known as the Rumble in the Jungle, to regain his world heavyweight title. In 1984, police in Poland found the body of kidnapped pro-solidarity priest, the Reverend Jerzy Populescu, whose death was blamed on security officers. In 1985, schoolteacher astronaut Kristen McAuliffe witnessed the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger, the same craft that would carry her and 6 other crew members to their deaths in January 1986. In 1995, by a razor-thin vote of 50.6% to 49.4%, Federalists prevailed over separatists in a Quebec secession referendum. In 2001, Ukraine destroyed its last nuclear missile silo, fulfilling a pledge to give up the vast nuclear arsenal it had inherited after the breakup of the former Soviet Union. And in 2002, Jam Master Jay, otherwise known as Jason Mizell, a rapper with the hip-hop group Run DMC, was killed in a shooting in New York. He was only 37 years old. 10 years ago, President Barack Obama implored voters to resist the Republican tide, warning that if the GOP prevailed in midterm elections, all the progress of his first 2 years in office could be rolled back. 5 years ago, the United States escalated its fight against the Islamic State in Syria, pledging the first open deployment of military boots on the ground. 1 year ago, reacting to growing concern about the spread of misinformation on social media, Twitter banned all political advertising from its service. And then today's birthday, rock singer Grace Slick from the Jefferson Airplane and Jefferson Starship is 81 years old. Grace Slick is 81? Oh my God. Rhythm and blues singer Otis Williams on the Temptations is 79 years old. Actor Henry Winkler, 75. Broadcast journalist Andrew Mitchell is 74. Country rock musician Timothy B. Schmidt from the Eagles is 73 today. Actor Harry Hamlin is 69. Actor Charles Martin Smith is 67. Country singer T. Graham Brown is 66. Actor Kevin Pollak is 63. A rock musician Gavin Rossdale from the group Bush is 55. Comedian Ben Bailey is 50 years old today. Actor Nia Long is 50. Business executive and presidential advisor Ivanka Trump is 39 years old today. And actor Kennedy McMahon is 24. Okay, moving on to the zodiac or the horoscope. So Scorpios, listen up. October 24th through November 22nd, scrutinize secondhand information. A premature move will lead to unexpected difficulties if you rely on others to do things for you. Take control of what's happening around you. Sagittarius, November 23rd through December 21st. Doing home improvements, having meaningful discussions, making plans with a loved one, or interviewing for a position that intrigues you is favored. Romance is on the rise. So my wife better listen up because that's her birth sign. Capricorn, this is my oldest son's birth sign, December 22nd through January 19th. An emotional setback may be daunting, but it will help uncover problems that need to be resolved. A truthful conversation will reveal what's possible. Aquarius, January 20th through February 19th. Consider what you do for a living and how you would like to spend your time. The gap may not be big as you think. Check out educational resources to improve your life. Pisces, February 20th through March 20th. Look through new ways to use your skills and expertise. You are overdue for a change that will help you let go of the past and fast forward into something exciting. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. An offer is only useful if it suits your needs. Refuse to get involved in something that will benefit someone else more than it will help you. Speak up, but don't let anger take the reins. Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. Expand your knowledge, interests, and goals. Make sure you and a partner are on the same page before you agree to something long-term. Someone will offer an inflated point of view. Research the possibilities before getting involved. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th, my youngest son's birth sign. A personal pick-me-up will boost your mood. Physical fitness, a new look, or additional skills will encourage you to head in a new and exciting direction. A romantic encounter is favored. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. Do what's best for everyone. Refuse to get into a scuffle with someone negative or controlling. Do your own thing if you don't like what someone asks you to do. Leos, July 23rd through August 22nd, which was my mom's. Control your emotions, back away from unstable situations. Great happiness and peace of mind will follow. Work on the projects that are important to you. Virgos, my birth sign, August 23rd through September 22nd. A change of plans will work in your favor. The information that comes in your way will help you slide into situations with ease and put you in an excellent position to negotiate. And finally, Libras, September 23rd through October 23rd. Don't take on responsibilities that don't belong to you. Put your time and energy into an important relationship. Ease stress to improve your health. Do things that make you happy. And as always, the horoscope is an entertainment feature, not based on scientific facts. In the Acadiana area, the funerals today, we have Dennis Atkins at Fountain Memorial Cemetery in Lafayette at 10 a.m. Hamilton Davis, Cathedral of St. John Church at 5 p.m. Latrice Marquette, St. Peter of the Apostle Catholic Church, 1325 Big Four Corners Road in Franklin at 11 a.m. And Linda Picard at St. John Birchman's Roman Catholic Church in Kington at 2 p.m. All right, we're going to get back into the news cycle. I like to read, usually on Fridays, heading into the weekend, I like to read something that may be entertainment-based, and I have an article today called Mix It Up. New Orleans Academy channels Aretha gains spot on The Voice by Judy Bergeron. After working the stage and her vocal range with Aretha Franklin's Baby I Love You, New Orleans singer Academy became the newest member of Team Legend on The Voice Monday night. What a beautiful rendition of that song. Judge Coach John Legend told the singer after her blind audition. It's soulful, full of energy and spunk. I love your energy. I love the way you perform. I love your vibe. Legend, the only of the four coaches to turn his chair around, signaling his interest in securing the singer for his team, said he was looking forward to working with her this season on the NBC reality competition series. After saying she enjoys dabbling in different musical genres, Casme asked her new coach, "Can we mix it all up, John? Can we mix it up like the gumbo in New Orleans, baby? Let's mix it up," Legend yelled. The oldest of 8 children, 39-year-old Casme, was born next door to the St. Thomas Project development neighborhood in the Crescent City. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of singing, she said on the show. I was taught early on to go after my dreams and also to help people along the way. Prior to our auditions airing, Casme took time for a few quick questions. Were you born and raised in New Orleans, or do you live there now? Yes, I was born and raised in the 10th Ward in Algiers. I graduated from Edna Carr Madden High School in 1998. I attended Dillard University, then moved to Nashville for 10 years to attend Tennessee State University. Then I moved to Atlanta for 5.5 years, and then back to New Orleans because I miss my family and my city. I'm here now. When did you start singing? Did you have any formal training? I started singing when I was 2, my mom says. No formal training officially, but as a background singer for Bobby Ray Simons Jr., we had an amazing vocal coach helping us to execute our breathing and song delivery. She was awesome. You seem to have a multifaceted career. What do you consider your day job? Management. I'm presently managing my music career, 3 new businesses, and a mentoring program and girls club. What does a typical day for you look like? I pretty much do whatever I want every day. I grew up with 2 entrepreneur parents. I pray, meditate, read my daily devotional, jog the levee, play basketball, do yoga, new to my regimen. Then breakfast, write out a to-do list, and then attack it full force. And some fun facts here. I have 7 siblings, so I try to communicate with them all daily and mom and dad. Also, I try to cook dinner for my hubby and me early because I start to get sleepy when it gets dark outside. Were you a fan of The Voice before this and wanted this show over any others? Yes, I was. They seemed generally interested in The Voice and the vocalist. It's so cool to not get judged by your skin color, weight, or fashion image. It's just about one's voice. I think it's pretty authentic and genius. I've seen singers ridiculed and made fun of on other talent competitions. Seems anything for likes and views. I don't like that. What's your musical style and who are your influences? I'm a gumbo artist, a mix of pop, funk, jazz, blues, rock, and a lot of soul. My root is love. I'm always singing about love, self-love, God's love, love in relationships, and love for life. Influences on Michael Jackson, Ella Fitzgerald, Diana Ross, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, John Legend, Sade, Elvis Presley, Sam Cooke, Lauryn Hill, Beyonce, India Arie, Monica, Brandy, and Erykah Badu. When do you audition for the show, before or during the pandemic? If during, how did it affect the process? I auditioned in Nashville originally. My callback was in California, which was during the pandemic. We had to have Zoom meetings, test for COVID regularly, and self-isolate quarantine to keep everyone safe. I enjoyed the quiet me time, but did miss my family and human interaction. Do you have any prior TV experiences? Well, I've been on quite a lot of TV shows, movies, commercials, and as an extra and/or background singer or backing dancer, not as a feature. So this is pretty exciting, a dream come true. What will be your strategy going forward in the competition? To be my authentic, humbling, loving, caring, hardworking, and mushy self, I cry really easily, and to also show versatility. I really don't like talent competition shows, though, if I can be honest, because I feel God gave us all something amazing and special. Who can honestly say this one is better than that one? I'm on the show to simply share my gifts, my spirit, my energy, and my voice with the world, not so much to battle or knock anyone out of the show. Is anyone else in your family musically inclined? Both parents sing pretty well. Mom grew up singing and did a few pageants in her high school days. She and Dad sang mostly around our house and at church. You mentioned that you're a newlywed. Would you share a little bit about your husband? Gary Carter Sr., my heart. We met when I was volunteering to feed the homeless and community at Senator Troy Gary's brother's annual Thanksgiving dinner at Burnham Gym in 2016. We married in Destin, Florida, The wedding went viral because I had 34 bridesmaids. Laugh out loud, or LOL, as they say, as the kids say, LOL. Okay, so let's get back into regular state news. Some of these stories will be, unfortunately, Zeta or Hurricane Zeta related. We'll read a couple of those. Unexpected power storm deals unwelcome late season surprise to warn out Louisianians by Brian Stahl, John Zimmerman, and Doug McCash. There likely won't be many more terrifying places to ride out Hurricane Zeta than in the large trailer park at the Hopedale Marina in Lower St. Bernard Parish, one of the last wayposts on the long abandoned Mississippi River Delta. That eye wall came through here last night. It came in as bright as day, said Paul Noble, a retired East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputy who rode out the storm there in his Adirondack camper. It was rocking, it was sliding stuff off the stove. Travis Latipi, a local shrimper, noticed a difference between Zeta's winds and those of 2005's Hurricane Katrina, the local benchmark for storms. Utility poles laid down for Katrina, he said. Here, they snapped. In a record-breaking hurricane season filled with near misses for New Orleans, the city's number finally came up Wednesday as Hurricane Zeta barreled directly through town with unexpected power. Forecast to weaken as it neared, Zetas instead made landfall on Coterie with 110-mile-per-hour winds, just a tick shy of Category 3 status, and became the most powerful hurricane to hit the U.S. this late in the year since 1899. Coastal communities like Lower St. Bernard Parish, Grand Isle, and Coterie took the hardest licks from Zeta, but the storm, which moved with remarkable speed, packed plenty of punch when it tore through the city and its suburbs. Zeta breached the levees protecting Grand Isle in 3 places, and also deposited a shrimp boat on Louisiana 1 heading toward the island, blocking access and forcing first responders to helicopter in to assess damage. Widespread blackouts that stretched all the way into Georgia were perhaps Zeta's most notable legacy. In Louisiana, hundreds of thousands remained without power 24 hours after the storm's passage, and officials with local utility companies warned it could be well into the weekend before many regained service. There were at least 3 deaths were attributed to the storm, including a New Orleans man electrocuted late Wednesday by a downed power line. The 2 other deaths came as the storm crashed through Alabama and Georgia. A tree in the front yard of a suburban-style home was also affected, as many other homes were in the area. Still, Governor John Bel Edwards noted in a news conference Thursday afternoon that there is significant damage to homes, to businesses, to infrastructures throughout southeast Louisiana. We knew it caused vessels to be thrown about and into bridges that have to be inspected, and damage has to be repaired. Although it came ashore in Louisiana, Zeta did some of its worst damage along Mississippi's Gulf Coast, which was on the rougher right-hand flank of the storm. Okay, moving on, we'll go to another hurricane-related story. Storm battered McNeese works to reopen. University seeks to have key repairs done for spring semester by Kent Stickney. Battered by 2 hurricanes in 6 weeks, McNeese State University in Lake Charles has totaled its damage to about $200 million, yet vowed to reopen the 7,000-student campus by spring. At a news conference Thursday, President Darrell Burkell said McNeese expects to restore enough key buildings, including most of its dorms, by January. About 30% of classes will return to face-to-face instruction on the first day of spring semester. Classes, COVID-19 guidelines permitted, and additional buildings and in-person classes are expected to open as the semester progresses. Burkell said Hurricane Laura, which made landfall August 27th in nearby Cameron Parish with winds of 150 miles per hour, ravaged the campus. The academic portion of the campus sustained some $77 million in damage, closing it to the public traffic. and transitioning schedule classes to remote education only. Tarps covered most of the roofs on McNeese's campus, about 140 buildings in all, mitigating massive roof damages. 6 weeks later, Hurricane Delta again made landfall in Cameron Parish on October 9th, eventually ripping off many rooftop tarps and exposing buildings to additional water damage and mold, ratcheting up the damage toll another $19 million to $96 million in the academic area of the campus alone. Additional damage to equipment and buildings elsewhere, including to McNeese's athletic facilities, pushed the damage total closer to $200 million, Burkell said. Okay, more Hurricane Zeta related news. Warm waters, cool front caused storm strength by Mark Schiffelstein. Hurricane Zeta's rapid ascent to near Cat 3 strength at landfall in Louisiana was caused in part by the very weather system that was supposed to tear it apart, a senior forecaster of the National Hurricane Center said on Thursday. The strong trough of low pressure produced ice storms in Oklahoma and Texas on Tuesday and Wednesday while en route to the Gulf of Mexico. There, its high winds in the upper atmosphere were expected to shear Zeta's clouds and keep it at tropical storm or Cat 1 status. And said those winds helped draw warm air from the surface to Zeta's eye to its top, further reducing the storm's central air pressure and helping to strengthen, senior hurricane specialist Mike Brennan said. Zeta took advantage of typical late October environmental conditions in the atmosphere and the waters of the Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico to become a behemoth in landfall Wednesday afternoon near Coterie. With sustained winds of 100 miles per hour, landfill Zeta almost reached Cat 3 strength on the Saffir-Simpson wind scale, a preliminary list of highest wind speeds collected by the Slidell office of the National Weather Service. Okay, moving on. Official survey damage to polling places after Zeta. More hurricane-related news by Sam Carlin. Hurricane Zeta whipped through the New Orleans area just days before the November 3rd presidential election, and officials on Thursday raced to survey the damage to polling places, warehouses full of voting machines, and the offices of local election officials. Zeta, Category 2 hurricane, when it made landfall Wednesday afternoon, slammed into New Orleans and knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses. Officials said Entergy would work to restore power first to polling precincts to get them up and running by Tuesday, when voters are expected to turn out in strong numbers to vote for president, congressional races, Orleans Parish District Attorney, and a host of constitutional amendments and propositions. State and local officials in the New Orleans area said they were still trying to figure out which polling locations might have to be moved on Election Day, and were crafting plans for how to best inform voters. We're hoping to minimize the number of voters who cannot vote at the normal occasion, Governor John Bell Edwards said in a morning news briefing before touring storm-ravaged southeast Louisiana. He added that polling places and local elections officials and offices will be priority locations for restoring power. Arthur Morrell, clerk of court for Orleans Parish, said Thursday afternoon it was still too early to see how many of the parish's 122 polling places would have to be relocated, but the officials were scoping out the Smoothie King Center as a possible mega precinct if needed, much like it was during the record-setting early voting period. And moving on. Edwards says he'll vote for Biden by Tyler Bridges. A month or so ago, Governor John Bell Edwards decided to say whether he would vote for President Donald Trump or former Vice President Joe Biden on November 3rd. Asked again Thursday, Edwards paused at length before saying, "What's your next question?" The governor was then reminded that the Republican president had blasted him repeatedly as an out-of-touch liberal during 3 visits to the state last year in a failed attempt to derail Edwards' re-election. Might the governor vote for Trump? No, you know that I'm not going to do that, said Edwards, the only Democrat to hold statewide office in Louisiana. He then acknowledged he would vote for Biden, but declined to elaborate on why. Biden and U.S. Senator Kamala Harris, his vice presidential nominee, and other Democrats around the country have been lambasting and ridiculing Trump for months. But Edwards has shied away from criticizing the president, mindful of Louisiana's need for federal dollars this year to combat the coronavirus and to recover from the many hurricanes we've had this year, and also perhaps mindful of Trump's willingness to punish Democrats perceived to be his political enemies. In fact, Edwards has gone out of his way to thank the president for his help. I don't care who the leader is. You need to have the best possible working relationship with them if you want your request to be considered in the most favorable light, Edwards told the Washington Post in April. Trump has appreciated Edwards' approach, telling conservative broadcaster Sean Hannity in March that Louisiana has a very good governor in Edwards. As he has done several times this year, Edwards praised Trump on Wednesday for his quick approval of the governor's request for federal assistance related to Hurricane Zeta. Okay, and finally, we have a sports story to talk about. Cajuns have clear path to Sun Belt title game by Kevin Foote. The UL Raging Cajuns are 4-1 overall and 2-1 in Sun Belt play heading into Saturday's road contest against Texas State. With only an 11-game schedule this fall, that's roughly the halfway point in the season. That means it's time to check out the Sun Belt standings for the first time. Like was covered 2 weeks ago, if your unwavering goal for the season was an undefeated season for the Cajuns, that ship has sailed with the home loss to unbeaten Coastal Carolina by a very late in the game field goal. But if your goal was to return to the Sun Belt Conference Championship game for the third straight season and hopefully win it this time, there's a clear path to that end. On Saturday, the Cajuns begin what they hope will be a clean sweep of the Sun Belt West and San Marcos. We're getting into the meat of our conference schedule, Coach Billy Napier said. We're certainly getting ready to meet some Western Division opponents. I think we understand the significance of playing a conference play against a Western Division opponent, how that can affect where we're at the end of the year. We're getting closer. We're on to Texas State, and that's where our entire focus is at. South Alabama leads the West race at 2-0. The problem for the Jaguars is their schedule. What's their schedule? Let me pick up. I just lost my place for a second. 4 of the next 5 games are road games at Georgia Southern, at Coastal Carolina, at UL, and at Arkansas State. If South Alabama survives that stretch unscathed, it will deserve a spot in the title game. If that doesn't happen, Arkansas State, 3-3 and 1-2, figures to be the biggest obstacle between the Cajuns and a third trip to the league's title game. The Red Wolves' remaining schedule is a lot more favorable than South Alabama's. Arkansas State has Troy, UL Monroe, and South Alabama at home, and UL and Texas State on the road. If the Red Wolves win 4 or 5 of those, including a win in Lafayette, Arkansas State would certainly be in the mix to be the West Division representative. The key for the Cajuns is to beat the teams they're supposed to beat on paper. It's playoff weather, quarterback Levi Lewis said. During the West, we're not taking these games lightly. It's playoff time. We're trying to win out for the rest of the year. We're not going to take any games lightly because nobody is going to take us lightly. It's playoff season, playoff time, frankly, has been a strength of Napier's tenure at UL. He hasn't beaten Appalachian State yet, and he's slipped up a few times against Coastal Carolina. But the Cajuns have handled everyone else in the league since his arrival. If that continues, don't be surprised if the Cajuns are 9-1 heading to Boone, North Carolina in early December. We still have a lot of players that can get better. We can coach better and position groups that need to continue to get improved, Napier said. Overall, we're still a work in progress. We've got to continue to improve, and certainly this is our next opportunity. In other words, the Coastal Carolina loss was a stumbling block, but a very clear, realistic path to the Sun Belt Championship game still exists for the Cajuns. The offense has definitely shown some progress over the past 2 weeks. The defense's depth has been clear throughout the season, and the kicking game remains special. There certainly aren't any obvious alarming signs to keep fans from anticipating success down the stretch. We're still seeking that complete game, Napier said. We're trying to eliminate the bad football. There's still a handful of plays that we need to get rid of. And that about wraps it up. That takes me right up to the 9:55 mark, or 9:56 at this point. So our broadcast does end at our TV stations, but continues on AOC Community Media, which is our YouTube station, and Cypress Street Radio, our online streaming service at Cypress, CYPRESS Street Radio. Just go to any one of your browsers, plug in Cypress Street Radio, take you to our homepage, and you can press the play button to listen to our audio portion of Local News Live. Let me just read, since I have a few minutes, because we go to 10 a.m., let me just read a couple more public service announcements. Request for mosquito control now available through Lafayette. 311, Lafayette Consolidated Government is increasing mosquito abatement efforts in the parish. An increase in mosquito activity is a common occurrence following any storm event, including Laura, including Delta, including Zeta. I could go on. Citizens noticing an influx of mosquitoes in their area can now use the Lafayette 311 portal to request service. All submitted requests are routed directly to Mosquito Control Services, the mosquito control contractor for the parish. Okay. Keeping Calm through COVID hotline was still dealing with COVID-19. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with stress, fear, and anxiety about the uncertainty surrounding this public health emergency, there is a special Keeping Calm through COVID hotline you can call. This connects you to trained, compassionate counselors who can offer support and who can direct you to mental health and substance abuse counseling services. Trained counselors are available 24/7. All calls are confidential. Call 1-866-310-7977. Locally, you can stop the spread. Call instead, hashtag stop the spread. For local COVID-19 updates and information, you can visit www.311lafayette.services. Call centers with volunteers and medical professionals are active 24/7 to answer your questions about COVID-19 and to determine if you need to get screened. There are places in town where you can get screened even if you're not showing symptoms. You may also call 311 and press option 2 if you're a business owner, employee, or are looking for a job to get information about applying for small business recovery loans, apply for unemployment benefits, and related programs. All right, folks, it's almost at 10 o'clock hour. We do Local News Live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on our first, mostly on our, you can hear the audio portion on our TV stations, also on Cypress Street Radio and YouTube station AOC Community Media. This is a service we provide for free in collaboration with the Acadiana Advocate. We appreciate you tuning in. We do this as a service for our visually impaired audience in the community, also for those in our community who don't get the newspaper or have access to the news cycle. Most people have either get the newspaper or television, but don't always have access to the news, local news. So we're here to provide that information to you. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. As always, this is Bruce Cohen. Will always be Bruce Cohen. And I'm asking you to be safe out there, be healthy, and be smart. Please be smart. The COVID-19, again, is rising in many states. It goes through this cycle where it goes down and then goes back up and is beginning to spike. So please be careful, especially with this Halloween weekend upon us, moving into the virus season, into the flu season. So please be careful. Just wear your mask, folks. It's really simple. Wear your mask, sanitize your hands, sanitize, if you're around people you don't know, been exposed or not, just take precautions and stop the spread. And as always, be kind to each other and have a great day the rest of the weekend. We'll see you on the flip-flop on Monday morning. Thank you again for listening. Have a great day.